Napoleon Bonaparte was a French military leader who conquered much of Europe, and he was born on the island of Corsica. At an early age, he rapidly rose to the military and eventually crowned himself emperor. Once Napoleon was emperor, he waged war across several European nations and expanded his empire widely. But after a terrible defeat against Russia in 1812, he was removed from the throne and was exiled to the island of Elba. In 1815, he returned to power briefly in his Hundred-Day Campaign. After a defeat in the Battle of Waterloo, he lost the throne again and was exiled to a remote island of St. Helena, where he died. Napoleon had many strategies involving artillery. Most artillery was carried by a crew of men and horses, and their most effective tactic was flanking. Many events helped Napoleon come to power. One of them was the Levion Mass, which was a large group of men that helped him form a regime, which allowed him to take over the government and allow himself to become emperor.
The Napoleonic Code is a revised version of the Roman law, or civil law, which predominated in Europe, with numerous French modifications, some of which were based on the Germanic law that had been in effect in northern France. For the first time in history, the law was based on reason and founded on the notion that all men were equal before law. It guaranteed individual rights except for women and blacks, and the security of property. In short, it codified many of the ideals of the Revolution. The Napoleonic Code became profoundly influential to other European countries in the 19th century. It was approved on March 21, 1804. Napoleon established civil service reforms. The reforms in law included the Napoleonic Code. Also, Napoleon reformed the government by centralizing it, putting control firmly in the hands of the national government. It became more efficient. Advancement in the civil service and the military was based on merit rather than rank. A tax system was applied equally to all. Lastly, Napoleon reformed education by building many new schools for boys. He recognized the importance of education in producing good citizens. However, he did not see the need to educate girls since they could learn everything they needed from their mothers. They were not to be active citizens. Louisiana Sale. Napoleon realized that France's territory in America could not be easily defended. He also realized that he needed money to support his army. In 1803, the United States purchased France's Louisiana territory for $15 million. Napoleon had a great military career. Napoleon won over 50 battles and lost only 7 during his career. His various victories helped set him up to become Emperor of France. At the Siege of Toulon, Napoleon was able to beat the British, earning him the rank of Brigadier General and complete control of all artillery in Italy. His military career went on from there. His amazing military genius allowed him to win many battles with few losses. He became very popular.
Napoleon's downfall began in 1808 when he created a new enemy by uprising the Spanish throne in favor of his brother Joseph. The Spanish uprising that followed encouraged Britain to send military forces to the Iberian Peninsula. The ensuing war was to play a major part in Napoleon's downfall. The war between France and Spain caused Britain and Spain to become allies. However, in 1808, Napoleon succeeded in creating his brother to be the Spanish leader. After the war, Napoleon created a continental system. The continental system wanted to close down all ports in Europe so people couldn't trade with England, and England can't trade with them. Many empires didn't agree to this system. Portugal openly denied and still trades with England. Napoleon was mad about this and wanted to invade Portugal, so he sent a good amount of troops to Portugal. However, as they were crossing through Spain, the Spanish militia attacked his troops. After hearing that his troops got attacked by the Spanish militia, he decided to attack English directly. He took his navy combined with the Spanish navy and attacked England. He had 33 ships while England only had 27. England won. After the loss to England, he took the rest of his army and invaded Russia. However, a good amount of it was still in Spain. His army was almost completely wiped out within 6 months by freezing temperatures, food shortages, disease, and Russian assaults. This proved to be the beginning of the end for Napoleon, who was forced into exile in April 1814.
Napoleon launched an invasion against the Russians that eventually led to his troops retreating from Moscow and much of Europe uniting against him. In 1814, Napoleon's forces gave up, and Napoleon offered to step down in favor of his son. When this offer was rejected, he was abdicated, and on April 11, 1814, Napoleon was exiled to Elba. Napoleon was able to escape his exile in Elba and was able to muster enough support to be able to return to Paris and declare himself emperor again until many world leaders defeated him. This was called the Return in 100 Days. The Battle of Waterloo was fought on June 18, 1815, near Waterloo, which is in present-day Belgium. The battle was fought between Napoleon's army against the 7th Coalition, an Anglo army led by the Duke of Wellington, as well as the Prussian army led by Gebhard. I have no idea. As well as the Prussian army led by Gebhard Leberecht von Blücher. Napoleon's armies ended up losing with 41,000 casualties out of 73,000 soldiers. In 1815, after Napoleon's capture after Waterloo and attempted escape to North America, Napoleon was sent to St. Helena, an island 1,210 miles off of southern Africa. He was sentenced as an English prisoner. Napoleon later passed away due to stomach cancer on May 5th, 1821.
If Napoleon could have learned one thing from his experiences, it's know when to cut his losses. After his defeat in England, he should not have tried to invade Russia, especially after having a big amount of his army still stuck in Spain. This was a major cause to his lead of his downfall.